What is happening, ladies and gentlemen of League Zero? Once again, you know who I am. My name's Corbs, and obviously I got my partner once again, Peripheral.
Hello.
The guest this week, we finally got a person who got picked up mid-season on Countdown. Thank you, Valerie, for accepting, and welcome to the show.
Hello.
And last but not least, we got the manager for the team making their third consecutive Novice Finals appearance, Jeff Bott. Jeff Bott,
Hello,
what's up?
Novice Jeff.
Yes,
Inter-
novice Jeff. Not Inter Jeff is scary, but
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
well, let's just say his opinions are a little exaggerated. So, all right. Anyways, moving on to the first game, or let's go over the games that happened last week. So, for those of y'all who don't know, Wisdom versus Rio. The winner of that game got a free ticket to the finals, and Wisdom did win 3-1, with the player of the match being Rockcrafts and the honorable mention being Titanic. And Fortunate Sons cut Geo's season short, and they won 3-0 with a map draw. The player of the match was actually Red Knight, and the honorable mention was Valhalla. Let's start with the first game.
Valerie.
Or Valerie, yeah, same thing. But, well, we got the player of the match in here, so it's pretty cool. Let's start with the first game real quick. We got Wisdom
Rio
versus
Wisdom, yeah.
Wisdom versus Rio, where Wisdom took a swift 3-1. I did cast this game. Honestly, Wisdom looked more like a team compared to Rio. That's pretty much the general gist I got out of that game. Peripheral, what were your thoughts about the game?
You know, I mean, I said before the game, I was expecting Rio to play more aggressively to truly unlock the MVP level performance that Gordo had, and I mean, I just didn't see it. They just didn't look that cohesive for whatever reason. Maybe it was just because they hadn't had as much scrim time with Trigger. There we go. But yeah, they didn't look as cohesive as Wisdom did, and overall, I mean, Wisdom, if you don't play the best you possibly can against them, then you're just gonna get rolled over because of how much individual skill they have on their team, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, honestly, Wisdom just was ready. That was really the big difference. Jeff, obviously you were a participant. Well, not necessarily a participant, but you were managing the team. Are you proud of your dudes to getting to the grand finals once again?
Yeah, I mean, after the season we had, it was expected that we would earn this bye. Rio was a really hard opponent, and them changing flex supports. Is this Trigger's first game? Trigger's first game?
It was actually second
Played
game.
against us.
Yeah, he played against Geo.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was the reason they lost. I think it was, like you said, coordination. You saw how many fights we bought back from the brink, right? Like, how our stalls were just on point that day. Like, the way we were able to get on the point contest, like, P-Bok Rock, like, able to make tank swaps on the fly to contest the point and get kills, like, and that ended up being the difference. It stopped Hanamura from running into, like, a 3-minute time bank they had. We ended up draining it all down because they ended cap at 99%. So it was a really, really close game, even though it was 3-1.
Yeah, one thing I really want to point out too is P-Bok switching over to the ball compared to him just sticking on the Rhine. Like, ball has much better mobility than Rhine, and like if he stuck on that Rhine, y'all would have not gotten any contests. So that's coaching right there. Just getting your players to understand, hey, we gotta switch to ball here and then I can go Rhine, so that way we can still get picks while you're going to stall. Valerie, obviously you were on the outside looking in, awaiting awaiting who y'all would play in the next round. Who are you surprised that about the outcome of this game?
I thought it would be much closer than it turned out to be. I thought it would be like a 3-2 in favor of Wisdom Academy, but I mean, Wisdom Academy did play really, really well, so I had to hand it to them.
Yeah, yeah, Wisdom just definitely looked like the better team. Rio needs to iron some things out. With that being said, they will be playing in the losers finals Friday against our next winner, Fortunate Sons over Geometric, who had a 3-0 plus a map draw. And our honorable mention is actually here, Valhalla/Valerie, and the player of the match was actually Red Knight. I'm surprised Red Knight turned it from like a feed or two god tier main tank, and it felt like so props to him for improving, just understanding what the team needs, and honestly, he looked great out there. I understand why he deserved player of the match. Valerie, obviously you popped off as well. You had your moments, which congrats. And Peripheral, you were technically in the game, but like you were.
I played one map.
Hey.
I had my highlight play. I'm happy. I'll take it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I knocked the Red Knight's priming ass off the map. I'll take it. That's all I wanted.
Okay, and then what were your thoughts about the game? And what was the what were y'all like just afterwards? I guess you can say.
I mean, this is gonna sound like a lot of copium, but I really don't think Fortunate Sons won that game so much as we lost it. Like we put ourselves in good positions to win, and then we just kind of fell over at times. Like our target focus was off on Kings, and Root really. So I think it's just you come away with it with like a bitter taste in the mouth, because I feel like we could have done so much better, and if not winning, we could have at least taken Fortunate Sons to like a map 5, or I mean obviously we could have won, but you know it's like, yeah, we're last place, but ultimately like all my team got so much better, my teammates got so much better over the course of the season, that like we can come away with it knowing like we did everything we could that was in our power to do so, and look towards the future, I guess.
I mean, yeah, honestly, who cares? It's your y'all had to start somewhere. Geo was full of rookies, and so it was like, hey, this is gonna be our first time in League Zero. They were facing Wisdom, Rio, Fortunate Sons, who all have like veterans on their team. Like, I mean, hey, Wisdom has, half of Wisdom normally plays together with like Thigh and Rock and.
Dude, I'm annoyed
Smudgy.
about that, because we just everyone just let Wisdom get away with getting the players they wanted and just maintaining that marsupial core.
Anyways.
That's kind of free.
Anyways, Valerie, congratulations on the big win. What were your general expectations going into that map, and did it play out? Obviously, it played out how you wanted to. What were your thoughts about it?
I mean, we head into it fairly confident. We've beaten them in the past. This should be no exception, and it wasn't. I think we got really annoyed on Kings. We played pretty sloppily, but I mean, thankfully, Red Knight pulled a creative one, running the Pharah on the defense and the offense, because we've never scrimmed Pharah on Kings Row. So I'm glad that worked out sort of well. I just felt like Geo kind of got boomed by the Kings Row, because I agree with Peripheral. They should have definitely won Kings Row. And I feel like that momentum could have built up to a reverse sweep, because especially on Hanamura, the full hold was kind of like the salt in the wound, and I mean overall I'm fairly happy with how the end result turned out.
Yeah, I mean the thing, Geo, like you said earlier, Geo did shoot themselves in the foot like many times. Kings Row especially. I mean the Pharah comp is actually really smart from y'all as well, because first of all teams really see it. And teams normally run the standard brawl comp, which teams normally scrim. So great, honestly. The fact that y'all caught Geo with their pants down like that was really good. Jeff, being a person from the outside looking in, what were your thoughts about the game?
It didn't surprise me. Wisdom warmed up against Fortunate Sons, and they looked really good in the warm-up, really organized. We saw their roster, and after we played against them, I had a feeling they were going to take it out, because they looked very, very organized in the warm-up, and it translated over to the game. Geo, it's been unlucky. I think you've had 3 or 4 different main tanks throughout the season. It's hard for a team to adapt to that many people taking the target caller role. Like when you look at all the other teams that have like a singular person in the main tank role, right? Like you've got Rio with Gordo, Wisdom with P-Lock. For Geo, there's been 3 people I've seen consistently playing the main tank, and it's rough. But I'm not shocked at the result, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It was, I think, with the mid-season pickups Fortunate Sons had, it did sort of take their team. It sort of enabled them to take their team to higher peaks than I think they would have been able to with the original roster. So yeah, I think that definitely was a factor, and also yeah, the whole thing with them finally sort of finding they're finding their stride, like Valerie said, helped them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, kind of somewhat props to Geo for somewhat turning their season around towards the middle, and they had that awesome upset against Rio. I still remember it, and I honestly don't know how it happened, but y'all definitely had your moments. Keep your heads held high. I mean, you can always sign up next season as well, and there are other leagues, so don't look down on yourself. Just think about what you can do in the future. So, anyways, we do have the losers finals coming up this week. This Friday we have Rio versus Fortunate Sons. Predictions. Yeah, it's long story short, Perry and I picked Rio to win 3-0. Analyst, Rio 100%, and community, Rio in 72%. I am sorry, Valerie, that was hey, it's just predictions. To be fair, I did predict Geo to win 3-0 not Rio to win 3-0 over Geo that one time, and they kind of pulled off an upset, so yeah, definitely they're definitely just predictions. However, I just think Rio is just going to outskill, I guess you can say, Fortunate Sons. And also out teamwork as well, because I feel Fortunate Sons does have to pull out carry plays. Same with Rio, but not to the same extent as Fortunate Sons. Peripheral, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Pred slide does kind of say it all, I guess. Like, I do think there is upset potential for Fortunate Sons, but, I mean, the amount of things that would have to happen in order for that upset potential to be realized just makes it so unlikely for me. Like, it's not even that you guys are bad. It's not even that Fortunate Sons is bad. Like, they're a very good team. They beat us. But, like, I don't know. I mean, Rio's just... It's kind of the same thing as last week. I think Fortunate Sons is good, but Rio is just better at this point.
All right, and Valerie, what are you doing to prepare against Rio, and are you looking forward to the matchup?
I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to it. As for preparing, I mean, we've been scrimming. That's all I can really say.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to practice very hard. I mean, Rio is definitely a much different opponent than Geometric. They have much more. Uh, they have really good players that we have to be looking out for. But I still believe that we can definitely pull this upset off, just like Geo did.
Yeah, honestly, I can see it too. The problem is, will y'all be consistent, or will y'all just flop over? I guess you can say. But honestly, I hope it's a great game too. Because I'm gonna try to cast it for sure. And so yeah. Jeff, you pretty much already have the free ticket to the finals. Who would you want to meet there, and why? Just heads up, your mic's muted too. Jeff?
Oh no.
Oh, the suspense.
Yeah, I would probably think, like, Rio, I think I want to reface, honestly. Like, I want to beat them again. I mean, it's nothing against Fortunate Sons. They've had a really good season, but I think Rio's separated themselves from the rest of the pack, mainly with us. So I think beating them in the finals is just the way I'd want to end it, even if it's a rematch.
Oh yeah. So I mean, finals MVPs are a thing this season, as per usual. So we do have one of the managers from the finals, one of the managers of the team, one of the teams who's going to be in the finals. So hey, I got it eventually. That's all that matters. Um, so yeah, so yeah, who do y'all think is going to be the finals MVP? I guess I'll go last. Corbs, you can go first.
Yeah. So personally, my finals MVP. Whew, I'm gonna say Rock. Rock looked great in that game against Rio. Their previous game against Rio, and if all things go as well, like together, I guess you can say, I can see Rock just coming out on top, being that MVP. Valerie.
I mean, you can basically make a case for anyone on Wisdom Academy to become MVP. I mean, they have MVP level players in almost all position. I would most likely give it to either Titanic or Sergeant Pepper, because they've played very well and very consistently throughout the season. I wouldn't surprise that they would show up in the finals as well.
And second to last, Jeff Butt.
Yeah, you guys have pretty much said the players on my team. I mean, including Spongy. So I'm gonna try and go another team. I do think that Gordo is much more likely to get it than anyone else in on Rio. I think even when you look at the game against us, when they looked lost in some fights, Gordo was still able to get picks, whether it be with the Primal moving around. There were a couple times he's overextended, but like for the most part, he's just the most consistent person who lays the groundwork for the rest of the team to operate. Like,
yeah, him and RQT definitely do a lot to enable Rio. Speaking of Rio, I think so. I'm getting a bit into the crackhead predictions here, but I have a hot take. I think Jerry's gonna play against Fortunate Sons. He's gonna dominate. He's gonna 1v6 and win every fight. Then he's gonna come into the finals. He's gonna dominate, and then he's gonna be the finals MVP.
If this holds, I was about to say
book Jerry, everyone.
I was about to say, if this holds true, I will literally. Wait, what should I do? I will. I don't know, but
do a cosplay. Do an anime character cosplay.
Yes, I will. If that holds true, I will do an anime character cosplay for the final countdown. Anyways, we made it. We are 2 countdowns away from pretty much finishing out the season. I know, finally.
We almost made it. I can see the light.
All right, my name is Corbs with my co-hosts as always, Peripheral, Valerie, and Jeff Bot were our guests for this week, and hope to see y'all next week. Thank you for watching. Go enjoy and watch the games.
Welcome to the countdown, y'all. This is the grand finals countdown, bro. Like, I can't believe we're already here, to be honest. It's kind of wild to me. The fact that we are now here at the end of the season. This season, I am joined by Jeff Bot, as I've been all the time this season, you know.
I was on earlier on the Novice Countdown, so this is the
double
Jeff,
duty today.
This is Jeff 4 hours in the future, so past Jeff was full of innocent lies, but now no
and
more.
This week we're joined by QZY from Tenacity.
Yeah.
Say hi, QZ. Hi, my name is QZ. Yeah, nice to meet you, QZ.
What?
I just did not hear anything you said. It was what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Then we're also joined by Frozen from Double Cap. You know, the finals.
Hi.
Frozen is a stinky Hitscan DPS who likes to sometimes play Doomfist.
Same.
Hitscan.
You said you like to play Reborn? What?
I like to ping Reborn.
Oh, of course. And Tyler, we all ping Tyler here.
It's a really important part of the Hitscan job description to like be able to ping Tyler. Like, it wasn't talked enough about in MVP conversation.
That's why the people who were bad Hitscans, they didn't ping Tyler. Yeah. But the good ones always do.
All right. Let's get right into it. Let's just do the recap of the games. We'll start with that. So 2 games happened. First was Exodus versus Mortal Woman. That was first, right?
No,
Yeah,
we're
that
gonna
was-
start with the top.
Okay. So Double Cap versus Tenacity, which Double Cap won 3-1-1. Play of the match was Tanic B, and honorable mention was Pongo. So from watching that game, it just felt like DC kind of knew what Tenacity wanted to play and just really prepped for it. And Tanic had a pretty good game. Pongo actually surprised me as well, like just playing better than I even expected, which is saying a lot considering I thought he was the best main tank, honestly. Jeff, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, DC is kind of just looking hot right now, I guess. Like, everything seems to be working out, but yeah, I think the tank line played better than they did last week, even though they still won. I think the tank line really elevated their play against Tenacity, and they looked dominant. Both Nikos, when he was in, I think looked really, really good.
And hopefully I think they're gonna have Katagiri back for finals. I think.
Yeah, we will.
Dope. Because we were talking about that last time, and I was like, I don't know if they'll have Katagiri for the first Tenacity game, which they did not. QZ, what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of I don't want to, like, say too much about it because we kind of just got our ass whooped, right? So we kind of just lost. But that was realistically our first, like, taste of a long series as a team. So I just don't think we were ready for it. So we kind of just let our mentals get to us, like, midway through the series, because usually it'd be over by then, and then it just all went downhill from there. And that's why on the last, like, map you saw, it was just complete domination, right? It wasn't even close. So I think for that series, we kind of just picked it up and realized what a long series was, and now we're chilling. But, you know, first taste of a long series, not really used to it too much. Got kind of dominated because they picked the comps that hard countered ours, but at the end of the day, I think it's fine. I think it taught us a good lesson.
Yeah, I would agree. I think because like then right after like you guys played Exodus, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Like to me, it's just like this game was like a really good rematch of the finals. Like my bracket was almost good. I had me and Jeff both had the finalists right, but I had it where DC lost this first matchup and then beat Exodus or beat Mortal Wombat actually, and then Jeff had Tenacity winning and DC getting in for the losers, right?
Yeah, I
Right, Jeff?
think so, yeah.
Funny enough, I had Tenacity going into losers, but I also had MI6 making a decent run, but, you know, they kind of
So did I.
tripped
They
over
kinda prepared
themselves and died, yeah.
Did Frozen talk about this game yet?
I did not. And
yeah,
I
I'm
think
so
Kizzy
dumb.
kind of nailed it on the head, though. Like, after, like, Rialto, I felt like the game got a lot easier, because I feel like you guys were hella boomed. So it was a lot easier for us. Especially when you picked Hanamura. For some reason, it has never been played, or at least in none of our games, like, it feels it's never been played. And we play Hana in almost every scrim for no fucking reason at all. So I don't know.
That's fair. You know, you were prepared then. Definitely prepared.
By accident.
By accident. Sometimes it just works out that way. But yeah.
Who were the
All right.
players? Did we talk about players?
I said yeah, it was
Yeah.
Tanic B and then Pongo honorable mention. Yeah, just that was really it. Like, I think outside of that, like the draw was really close. Like, I just think the styles of play kind of clashed, and you could see it like on Ike. They drew Ike, right? I'm not tripping, right? It was Ike involved. What?
Did we even play Eichenwald?
Yeah.
I thought it was Ike. Yeah. You drew Eichenwald.
Of course we
Um,
Everyone
and it
draws
just-
that.
I don't know about everyone.
No, no. I think yeah, it was a close series. It's gonna be an exciting finals. I'm excited.
I
to see
agree.
both
I
teams.
agree.
Yeah.
I'm happy that the loss happened when it did, because now we actually know what long series can do to us and work on that, especially before the finals, like the final game. Because if it happened earlier in the bracket, we might have not been able to recover.
Yeah, that's very true. You guys definitely benefited from having the winners bracket there, and I'm really good for y'all. Then, yeah. So now let's move into. We're gonna talk about the Exodus Mortal Wombat game real quick, and then we'll go into the Exodus, and then we're really just gonna talk about finals and what we expected and all that fun stuff. So the Exodus Mortal Wombat game, 3-1 in favor of Exodus. Play of the match was Georgie Boy and pair with honorable mention being the Gurgler himself, Michael. To me, this is like. It was definitely expected, right? But it was still like close. The maps were contested, and obviously I'm biased, right? But I was there. I didn't play because I'm bench boy. # bench boy. But definitely a close series. Well, I don't like. I want to hear y'all's perspective from watching the game.
It
to be
wasn't.
honest.
It wasn't. It was close. It was close. The 3-1. A lot of the maps became close, but like in the end, I think what I was talking about last week, as far as like, I think Exodus had more well-structured looks a little more consistently. I think they just played better as a team in their comps, and I don't know if it's because Mortal Wombat. I don't know, like if it's because like there's been a lot of like shake-up recently with them, or like changes, and the lineup has been changing the past. Like you've gone from Romy and Navino to Tyler and Mani, which is a good thing. They're good players, but it's a lot of synergy stuff. So I think Exodus just looked, more organized in the end. It was unlucky. Good game though.
I think even when Exodus was losing, there was never a point in the game where I felt that they weren't in control, in my opinion. And I don't know if that's just the consistent comms from like people like Toxic and Michael or Fabio, but there was just never a moment where it didn't seem like they were doing nothing, or they didn't seem like they were lost. They always knew what they were going to do, and even if they were losing, they still had a plan going in next. So I think compare that to Mortal Wombat, right? When they started losing, you could really tell, at least sometimes when they started panicking, you could see in their gameplay just missed timings, missed shatters, missed like everything. So I don't know. I just felt like Mortal Wombat crumbled more under the pressure than Exodus did, and they just had the stronger mental. That's just my opinion, though.
Frozen. Yeah.
I think that I agree that the tank line kind of hurts, but to me, like Exodus is like a Masters team that has scrimmed for a really long time, and Mortal Wombat is like a GM team who's like decided to play a one-day in open division. It's like the mechanics and skill is there. It's quite clear. You can see that Mortal Wombat clearly put up a good fight, but there's just no coordination or any thought going into it.
I would agree.
So,
I think coordination was hard for the team, and like it got better over time, but like
It was never there.
it was never really there. Like it was like not to the same level as the other teams. Like we literally won a lot of games by just mechanics. That was it.
But like this late into the season, I do not think that any team should want to. I don't understand what happened with Romy, but I just don't think you want to replace your main tank. Just kind of sucks.
Especially midway through the season. That just my opinion. If it has to be done, then that's whatever. You can't change that. But you know, I'm obviously not one to talk about yelling at people for taking out people because I can't see what's happening behind the scenes. But from just a spectator POV, it kind of just seems like they kind of swapped because Tyler is better mechanically, but that doesn't really make the difference in the end. Because if they're still lost with Tyler in, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
What was the next game?
Yeah, I agree with like what was said, but I think like if you run Romy and me, like you were kind of like we were in many ways one dimensional, and
and I'm not saying I'm not saying that you guys going in makes a difference. I'm just saying as a team, it's always hard to lose a key piece like that kind of comms coming from a main tank. It's hard to make that switch, and you guys did a lot of work to make it competitive, but in the end it is a disadvantage somewhat, even though I guess they had a newer tank line as well.
Yeah.
They did in a way. It's more so like I'm behind what we did, and I think like we go farther doing this, you know. So I think in hindsight, hindsight's 2020, and I wish I love Romy, and I just wish we had like a backup that could have taken the slot earlier, because I think a big thing that hurt us was I said this on the countdown right after my 6th game, Romy struggled to show up to scrims for a while, which really hurt us, you know. And especially when my work schedule also picked up, and I wasn't able to make as much. Mani was just available and there, and he understood the ball comes better than I did, so it made sense to play him. And then it made sense to play Tyler because he also was able to make scrims while Romy was hit or miss, right?
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. I think we could have stuck with me and Romy, and we probably still beat MI6 and probably end up here just because of the situation they were in, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't think like we stand a chance. Like we got 3-0 by Exodus last time, and like third map wasn't even close. Like I felt like this series, even though like we only won one more map, was closer than we time played in the regular season. Rummy and I, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I guess. Yeah.
So I think there's a lots of things. All right, let's get rid of the team that lost. You know, let's talk about the next game, which is I did say play match, right?
Yeah, you did.
Tenacity versus Exodus. Tenacity wins 3-1. Play of the match was I, Mustache. Then honorable mention were Scrollbin and Oats. To me, this game just looked like Tenacity woke up. Like Tenacity, yeah, like Tenacity looked so much better, so much more polished, and like you have to remember, like Exodus took, DC to map 6 like literally the week before, right? And then frankly get kind of rolled in a couple of ways. Like I'm not saying like the match was a roll, but I'm saying like Tenacity looked like they were in control to me.
I'm
like,
just gonna say, like we Valor visited everything. I think on Rialto we played a lot better in that match, but it was also like really down to the sort of energy that happens at the end. I feel like without that sort of energy at the end, even if we won that fight, we would have just like killed the next fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I'll also say that it's like the first week we had Nikos in the roster, like back in the roster, I think. So
that's fair. I'm not saying. I'm just saying though that they also took y'all to that map 6 with Nikos, right? And then Tenacity lost to y'all in 5 maps. I mean, you beat Tenacity in less maps, right? So like, if I'm just doing like Chinese property, I thought it would be very close and Tenacity might lose, right? But Tenacity just like I don't know how much like a day's different made, but it made a difference to Tenacity. I think maybe tasting like a real defeat that you couldn't really write off, like because you can write off the Exodus loss early in the season because they had Rab on flex support. They had the scuff setup. You can write those off. You could not write off this like this is do or die, and they couldn't write off the DC loss. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone.
Yeah, I understand. It's kind of like fuck. This is the first time we're actually fucking like this is our full starter lineup and everything, and we're fucking losing. So yeah, I understand that. Like it feels tough.
What do you think of the game, Jeff?
Tenacity Exodus is what we're talking about, right? I just want to make sure
Tenacity Exodus.
I did not miss something. Okay, yeah. Tenacity Exodus, I think like Exodus played really well. Like I do think they played really well. I thought even though what's the map? Like they played Rialto really, really close, right? Like against Exodus or against Tenacity, but in the end, Tenacity just looked on a different level. And I mean, I don't think it's shocking. I think Tenacity DC by the end of the season were always looking like the top 2 teams, and they looked pretty separated. So just a lot of talent on Tenacity in the end.
Yeah.
I think, I want to say something about it because I haven't really gotten to say anything about it, but I think for player of the match, like maybe even play of the match, but more or less honorable mention, definitely should have been Epic Shock. He like hard deadlifted the entire team. Like I obviously had the more flashy plays, but Epic was just the hard backbone of the team. He kept comms up. He just did everything. Like, and I know a lot of people can't see that, but I think he definitely should have been like an honorable mention or player of the match or something. Because oh my god, he played like an actual monster that game, and that definitely like helped us win. I also think another big part of the reason why we won, and we haven't, no one's really mentioned it yet, is that Exodus didn't have Toxic.
Yeah, no,
so that was a huge piece of their comms apparently. That's just
that allows them to play the ball comps.
Yeah,
right, because he plays their ball comp. And you're right, I totally forgot about that. Like,
yeah. And I'm not gonna say that it would have been. I don't think, and this might be a hot take, but I don't think it would have been as close as it was, even with Toxic like there. Just because of how well that Epic was leading the team and how good everyone was playing individually. Like, I think just after we lost and just tasted defeat, we were just like, oh, okay, well, time to focus up. And we can actually lose and leave the league like this instead of just winning. So we just woke up.
Yeah.
Like our after game talk was just literally, hey, if you're getting tilted, just don't. And then we literally took that
Just
exact
don't.
mentality to the next game. And yeah, that's literally what we said. If you get tilted, just don't. And then we just did that in the next game and we won. Just because we just couldn't handle so strong.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Sorry,
I feel
go
like
for it.
Tenacity has a certain way, or not Tenacity. I feel like Exodus has a certain way of getting into people's heads. Just the way they play and like the comps they play, it's very easy to like sort of like lose yourself in that chaos.
Well, I also think
if you're not prepared to like deal with their comp in the way you
they also have a personality.
Yeah.
Like Gurgler has a personality, right? And then it doesn't help that they're run by someone that's generally like not super liked by a lot of people on other teams, right? And like Kylus and Null, right? So like you just dislike losing to them, and thus it gets into your head because if you start losing to them, like you've already lost to yourself. If that makes sense.
Very obviously the third best. Like I think they were the only ones close to the other two in the end, though. Like,
oh yeah, by the end I would agree. But hey, you know, actually, you know, Jeff, your top 4 from preseason was accurate.
Yeah.
You had the only difference is like Exodus and Mortal Wombat swapped.
Dang.
You almost.
And that was Exodus before they were Exodus. That was Exodus when they
That's
were.
true.
I don't know, the other Exodus, I guess. Zora.
Exodus 1.
Exodus Prime, yeah.
Not in their prime though. I don't
No,
know.
yeah,
Prime.
not the Prime.
But yeah.
Exodus Beta.
No, but like I guess like coming up to the final. I mean, and in the end, like I said, Tenacity DC obviously are the best teams, and like coming up to finals. I have a question for both of you, which I'm kind of interested in hearing. Who on the other team do you think is most likely to win finals MVP if they win?
Rav. I'm just gonna say Rav.
Rav, yeah. Any reason? Is it just because like any?
Okay,
yeah.
one, I am literally Rav's biggest simp. Okay, I'll say that right now. I will like fucking die for that dude. And maybe even Scrollban. I really like the DPS line of EXO as like people. So I don't really know, but I think Rav is just like if everything goes wrong, Rav will win the game. You know?
He operates
That's like
really
Rav's
well in
endline
chaos.
play style.
Yeah.
You know? So he could definitely like clutch up fights and shit. Definitely Scrollban too. I think Scrollban went from being a sniper 2-trick to being one of the best mains in the league. So yeah.
QZY, what do you think?
So I'm gonna do 2. I'm gonna do the one that I would choose to be MVP and one who I think is gonna get MVP. I think Frozen's probably gonna get MVP because name value goes a long way.
Fair.
No matter if he plays good or bad, it's probably either gonna be Frozen or Pongo. But in my opinion, if I were to choose anyone, I'd probably choose Corey, just because I know how much he brings internally to the team. And if it's a long drawn out series, I know that he's probably gonna be the energy that they need.
No,
So
that's fair. Yeah, main sports don't get a lot of love.
I'm just gonna say that like half the time, like especially during the fucking Tenacity game, during the last 2 maps, I had 0 opportunity to do nothing. My entire team was just like sitting there killing everyone. So that was quite interesting. Just sitting there like watching back and just playing like whatever I was playing and just doing damage. I don't know. I feel like that's like my normal play style. I feel like I never have to like force myself to do a stupid play to try and play make. Because my team's got my back. So I don't think that I will, as long as it goes well, obviously. I don't think I'll win MVP. But I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Tell that to Exodus when you got like 4 or 3Ks in a row.
Well,
Yeah.
that's when I try to do something.
I mean,
as long as things go well, I don't have to do anything.
And talking about playoffs, I think you're, probably the biggest performer. I mean, Ravioli had his moments against Exodus 100%, right? Like, but I think just consistently, like every map I've seen, the one where you got like 3 picks on the Widow on that Rialto to swing the fight or whatever, like you're coming up clutch. So,
but if it was like going well, we would one never gone to Rialto, and probably like 2 if we were on Rialto and it was going well, we wouldn't gotten full hold, and I wouldn't have to be like swapping Widow. I'd have just been like, yeah, I'll stay Ash for the Bob and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, swapping a Widow, 99% of the time, I feel like it would have been a lost play. If Basket didn't window in front of me, I probably would have been a lost play. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of lucky that happened, but I think after we got those 3 picks, if that fight was like completely skipped, I think we'd have won it out just because of the energy we had in comms. So I don't know.
Yeah. I like energy. Like a lot of people, like so underrate like the energy that you go in. Like, and QZ will say like will tell you from like teams I've run, teams I've coached. Jeff will tell you like I'm all about like just bringing energy up because like it can make the difference. Like it might make you feel stressed at times, but like when you get amped up, when you get that adrenaline, it's just the game feels different.
Overwatch
At least
is
to me.
your drug.
No, but like any competition can be your drug in many ways. Because like as long as you like put the work in and put the emotion into it, if you don't care, then you're not. Even if you're the best player in the world, like you're not going to win as much because you don't care.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think most teams that are good, right, like, need to have some kind of, like, winner's mentality to a degree, right? Like, you have to, and I'm not saying losers have losers mentality or whatever, maybe you're just not quite as good, but you still have a really good mentality. But I feel like to be in the finals and be, like, a consistent team through of what feels like a very long season, right? It's been, like, three-ish months almost. Like, you need to have, like, really positive, good mentality. So, yeah, that makes sense. Why are we talking about this?
I don't know. Like, I think it's a cool conversation because, like, especially in these close games, like, and like those small, minute things can matter so much.
Okay, yeah. I have a question for you guys, though. What do you guys think would happen if Capitalism had Ender the entire season?
Did Ender leave?
Ender dipped
before-
after he lost to Mortal Wombat. After they lost to Mortal Wombat, he dipped.
Was that week 3?
3, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably make playoffs, honestly.
They make playoffs and like.
I'm just saying. I think if Ender played the entire season, he would have been a higher MVP candidate than Rav. I think.
I agree, and also I think like Rocket doesn't quit. Nova cares more. Like that team doesn't fall apart because as soon as Ender left and they committed to the commercial flex EBS. No offense to commercial, right? But it's like commercial's just not the same player as Ender.
He's also like a hit scan player. I'm pretty sure he's like Reborn. Reborn's like known as a hit scan player, but he plays flex. You know.
Wait, is Reborn really known as his game?
Yeah. At least in the last like sort of 3 fucking like. I don't know if I'm supposed to swear, but
it's whatever.
I don't know about like the last 3 leagues I've been in with him. He's like been a really hard hit skin player who can play Doomfist and Tracer like really well.
His Echo's good. Like he played Echo for Volcanic, didn't he?
Yeah, he played Echo pretty well too. I'd say.
Yeah, we also had a waste for hit scan, so
so like
it was like you know.
It was like.
Yeah. Reborn can. I know he played hit scan on Kingdom Come, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think like Reborn's just that really flexible person that can just like he will grind and learn a role, and he's just mechanically gifted enough to do it. Like I remember in the Twitlonger, like Asdo wrote after Volcanic won Flux, he called Reborn like just someone he met who's like low diamond but has the mechanical ability to pick up anything, right? Mm-hmm. And Asdo plays both flex and hit scan very well. So does Reborn. Like I consider Reborn a full DPS flex at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Except for Farah.
But no offense to commercial, he did really well in politics and stuff on hit scan.
Yeah.
His 5 DPS like didn't even sort of compare to his his.
I mean, Ender was like just a really big shoes to fill.
I feel like commercial can make a lot of plays on hit scan, but he cannot bring that same playmaking to flex DPS. And Ender was able to make a play every fight.
Talking about
very true.
Early season, remember Dad when Dad was playing every game and he looked like he was dominating
MVP?
teams? Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, Dad's still in the league.
Yeah, he is.
Not like he went anywhere.
Yeah.
But he decided he didn't want to play as much, and he was fine being benched because like you're not gonna insert Dad into starting lineup right now, especially at this point.
You know, you could.
Did we just see? Is this the Dad cameo in the grand finals? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, we're actually putting him on main tank again.
The classic.
That's
right. MVP candidate on main tank.
That was a funny game.
All right, now we kind of like that. Honestly, like that was really cool because we did. Oh, that's almost like a little season review. Like we talked of some what ifs, and that was cool. I like that because I think there's a lot of different ways the season could pan out. And like, let's think about if like maybe X's original roster sticks it out and just like forces themselves to play, right?
Mhm.
Then they
The
probably they might not make playoffs with that original roster.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
What? No.
I also like to say,
That's Hank.
another question was, what if Vitalize was around from beginning? Like, what if Trigger was managed instead of Chef?
That changes the whole league.
That changes.
Yeah, because
a
that
lot,
changes the
yeah.
draft entirely.
Well,
Because
no,
like
'cause
I think
I don't even-
Trigger and Frogman would actually draft a decent team.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
How they drafted a team for the long haul, man.
Yeah, I think that would. I mean, they would probably be more committed, so they wouldn't just burn out in the playoffs where like nobody really cared about the team realistically, right? Like
MI6 moment.
it was, yeah. But yeah, that if they were committed the whole time, like, and it's that roster transplant, it's probably up there with the other top 2 teams if they're all committed throughout the season, right? Like.
Yeah. I think like that sort of roster had a lot of talent behind it. I'm not gonna lie.
The Vitalize roster?
Vitalize, yeah, Vitalize at the end. I was thinking that they might like upset, a few teams here and there, but
I mean, they upset at Mortal Wombat last week, right? So they did what they needed to do to make playoffs. That they just couldn't. I don't think they could seal it. They couldn't seal the deal.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Exodus right now?
And I think we're talking. I think we're back on Vitalize. We're back to Vitalize.
Oh, because I
Yeah.
forgot to mention something when we were talking about Exodus. Shout out to Pear. He actually played the best game I've ever
Oh,
seen
bro, he's very
Pear-
against us in his final game. He probably played the best Echo I've ever seen in the entire league on
We
that
get-
game.
Yeah.
Which game? Versus y'all or versus
Yeah,
us?
versus us. Versus Tenacity.
He played really well against Tenacity. I
Yeah.
yeah, obviously he had big shoes to fill, but I don't think he was the reason they lost at all.
No.
Like, yeah.
I would agree.
yeah.
Well, do we want to talk about predictions for the final?
Now, yes, let's now talk about Grand Final. Jeff has Tenacity winning 4-3. I have DC winning 4-3. 100% of analysts are in favor of Tenacity, while 61% of the community are in favor of DC. I will say,
Such a hot take from the analysts, man.
I will
just
say
don't
the
like them.
analyst thing. I think there's only like maybe 10 people that filled it out for analysts because
That's still like a bit weird.
yeah, I didn't fill it out, so like
Neither did
because I just do my prediction. So like,
Yes.
if you want to count me, it would be less than 100%. I do think it's kind of weird because especially after like to me, Tassie is the underdog going into this now since they literally just lost to DC.
I know. That's why I'm so confused on why all the analysts pick Tenacity to win.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think Tenacity has another like gear to crank it up on, and they just can't get boomed after what was a really two weird hard fought maps, and after the draw and after those losses just started coming in, they need to be able to mentally reset. After them being able to do that to like take out Exodus pretty easily, like I see why people think it, and obviously it sucks that like but like it's kind of statistics like garbage in the end, right? Like I doubt all of them think it's going to be a dominant win,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree. I think it is kind of like I don't know how to phrase it.
It'll be a close game, I think.
Yeah.
As long as we sort of get ready, like me, Kizzy, and Ranta and Vlad and I, like we'll put on the show. I think for sure.
Get your
If
bingo.
you guys
cards
want to hear
ready.
my prediction, I think that the Pega Parrots will win this season of League Zero.
Yes.
Ah.
Emerald
Yeah.
Splash will lead them to victory.
Yeah, Emerald Splash
Emerald
MVP, my book.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I do think that now that we understand how to control ourselves in a longer series, it's not going to be as easy for Double Cat, but who knows what happens, right? Because they could just come out playing their more aggressive comps, right, and just kind of run over whatever, beat us in the mirror, whatever they want to do. You don't know what they can pull out. So I think it's going to be a good game, but it all kind of I don't want to throw any shade to DC, but it kind of all depends on Tenacity and what we want to do. rather than like because DC is just kind of great, right? Like just really good all the time, to be honest. So more or less depends on if we're going to be better than them or we're going to be worse than them.
I think the thing with DC is they have gotten significantly better about like the way throughout the season their rotations and like ability to move as like a team and understand how to play in positions and support each other has just grown every week. So like I do definitely understand the argument for DC. Like they have looked really, really good. Like I said, I think the first few weeks they struggled even though they were winning, but maybe that's just a sign of a good team, right? Like being able to like look a little weird, look a little off, maybe not play your strongest and still pull out the wins. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of took us a little bit of like, we're obviously like all like hard playmakers sometimes, especially with, you know, like our roster being so like talented in every role. It was like quite a bit of time to sort of get our heads together. And then like even then, once we did through like we were walking through the regular season like together and sort of, you know, putting, you know, 3-0ing people or 3-1ing people here and there. And it was like when we got to the Exodus game, I think we learned a lot more of the series than any other like game like through the regular season. I think that Exodus series we learned so much, and especially since we got like some good coaching and like good staff, and like watching that game back, we learned so much. So yeah,
I would agree. I think like you guys definitely have like leveled up. I think your staff has really stepped up as well. Yeah. Do you have anything else you wanna talk about? Like I know we've traditionally done, you know, like an hour, but I don't know if like I think we had a really good conversation. I don't know what else you really want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to say that what's it called? Like, I don't know if I'm gonna get the opportunity like tomorrow or Saturday to shout it out, but I will give a really big thank you to Fimi, Vinny, for like ringing every role basically whenever possible, and Zoom of course. So
The legend himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good to have players be the
yeah, especially like
was,
when you can just interchange them so quick like that on the fly. That's really good, especially like with Nikas and Kata. They were both adding equal screen time, so it was so easy for us to interchange them. Even though like at the end we were like hard grinding Kata and then he couldn't show up to the games, so we had to get Nikas in suddenly. But Nikos, I think, is also one of the best players. I like to say he's maybe just a hot take, but from what I played in against the Tenacity game, I think that Nikos and Kata are both 1 and 2 in off tank. But that's a really hot take, so I don't know.
I think it's still hard to unseat. Like Oates did play well, and I think it's hard to unseat him still. But I think Nico's definitely top 3 or 4 right now.
Yeah.
Like especially versus how he looks the last couple games versus how he looked when he played in the regular season.
Yeah, old man diff for real.
The boomers unite.
So I guess like is there anyone else from the team you want to like shout out, or like who do you think's who was most vital to you guys' success as like working as a team? Whether
I'd also like to
like
a big thanks to Boreal, Clay Machine, and the rest of the Powerhouse guys, because they sort of like came into our VC and shit talked us for about like 20 minutes, and then we improved drastically after that, so that was good.
That's funny.
And Klein for really shit talking our off tanks, like every scrim. He'd come there and shit talk the hell out of our off tanks. So that was good.
Shocking. Client talk shit. I could never see that happening, bro.
And finally, a really big thank you to our managers and current master for being there as like, you know, highest star players to sort of help us with micro and macro. It's fucking good. Good shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. QZY.
We good now?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna shout out 2 people in general, it's probably gonna be Scrollband and Suki. Just both of them always being there, especially when I couldn't be there.
Yep.
To like help out the team, especially Suki picking up coaching when I couldn't do anything because I had other things to do. Like really, really helpful.
Yeah,
he really helped the team out.
He's
And without him, I don't know if we would have been gone as far as we did. And Ben as well for just being a really good captain, keeping everyone's heads together. And towards the end of the season, probably iMustache, just for continuing to play flex support, even if he wanted to play a different role, and just popping off and just, in my opinion, being the best flex support in the league, even if he didn't want to play it.
Is.
Yeah, he is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for real. That guy hits so many sleeps.
He also just
His
he's good
Zen
aim.
is insane.
He
Zen
just
is-
has good aim. To be honest,
he just has good aim. That's what it is. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Because obviously I could shout at everyone, take turns saying that everyone did amazing, but
Yeah, no, congrats to both teams. Like I said, they both were definitely the two that deserved it, and it should be a great matchup. I'm hoping to see, man, if it's I don't think it'll be a sweep, but like if it is, it's gonna be so anticlimactic.
Papega Ferrets comes out of nowhere and sweeps 4 both Tenacity and and DC. So that's what's gonna happen. Prediction for finals. With Pufa MVP on main tank. There you go.
Yeah. I think honestly it's been a hell of a season. And you know what? Actually, I'm gonna predict. I want to do real quick before we end it off. Let's predict Finals MVP. Who do we think will get Finals MVP based on your prediction, Jeff? Based on like our own predictions. So, since I predict DC to win, I think Finals MVP will be Pongo, personally.
Okay. Yeah.
And who do you think?
I think I'm gonna take a cut. I think it's gonna go to like iMustache, honestly, if like Tenacity wins. I think he does a lot on the roll, and I think because Rav won so many other awards, like maybe it goes to someone else, right? And I think he's a really good candidate to like grab it.
Yeah. I agree. Also Adifi. I think Adifi is a top 2 main support easily.
Oh yeah.
I think Adifi, yeah.
Adifi,
I know,
like, main support,
like main support is not a role that gets a lot of value, but like Adifi is definitely up there in terms of skill. So yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, y'all, it's been an awesome season. Thank you all for joining us. Like, I'm so excited for this game, and I've been so excited to be, well, your host this season with my boy Jeff. You know, marsupial takeover of the countdown. Always and forever.
Yeah, fraud supials.
Hey, why are we fraud suit? I don't even understand that.
Reboard.
Can I talk about my favorite countdown?
Number one
moment
draft
really quick?
pick
My
reboard.
favorite
Oh
countdown
my.
moment is when Navina was like, "I got Ranter to co-host with you," and that was the best countdown moment.
Wow. Wow. I just shout you out how much I love playing with you, and this is how you treat me. I can't. I cannot. I cannot with this betrayal.
Yeah. No,
Can't cry,
it's been great. Thank you.
All right. And on that note, y'all, we'll see you in the finals.
Ping Reborn.
Ping Reborn, please.
Yeah, you might as well ping Reborn.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Countdown. This week, hopefully, no audio issues, no issues at all, because that would probably be the 3rd or 4th time this season that I've done that. But I'm here. I'm RMM. I'm here with Asdo, Glacial, and I don't want to mispronounce. Evie. Okay, got it. Thank you. Yeah. We are now in the final stretch of the playoffs. One team has been eliminated. I'm not going to say who right now because, well, everyone already knows that. But I'll wait until the thing to talk about it. But yeah, great week of games. Honestly, honestly, I think this is the best week of games this season.
I mean, it was 2 very, very close ones.
Okay, well, that being said,
Get into it.
yeah. Okay, our first game, Powerhouse against Axolotl Syndicate. Probably best game of the year, League 0, in my opinion. Powerhouse won 3-2. 3 maps on Nepal, or 3 rounds into Nepal, basically 99-99. The player of the match was Boreal, and the honorable mentions were Azalea and Rectophobia. Now, Boreal obviously got player of the match because he is a primarily flex DPS player who, for basically the whole match, other than I believe the first 2 maps, was playing off tank. I think One Punch Man was off tank there. But yeah, he did a really good job.
Yeah, it was an incredibly solid game. I mean, this is a game that we knew going in was going to be incredibly close. We knew that Axolotl was coming into this game kind of hungry, revving up, ready to go. And in general, the consensus going into it was, yeah, Axolotl's the team to watch out for. But something clicked for Power. They was able to take it in that last one. Even watching Nepal at the end, seeing Axolotl take that first map, I figured, okay, this is it. This is the time. But Power's fought back and they were able to finish it out.
Yeah, going back to Boreo, he actually did, in my opinion, he had a play that kind of won them that game. If you go back to the VOD, hopefully it'll get posted eventually, or even the highlights. He had a Diva Bomb that killed Kurt, and then without the Mercy and Pharah, for the Pharah, he killed the Pharah as well and kind of won them that fight, because that was like close to the 99% thing, so Axolotl really didn't have a good clean fight at the end because of that play.
Yeah, I mean, good identifying kind of what they can do to win that fight, right? I mean, there's a pretty big thing on in a lot of these knobs, so to be able to kind of just take the onus into their own hands and deal with it, it's big brain stuff. You like to see it.
I do want to mention, though, I think Axolotl did a really, really, really good job this match. I think they all played well. I mean, they just, like, one fight. It was just a one-fight loss, honestly.
It comes down to the decimal point, right? Like, it's just so close. Axolotl has been playing really close with them the entire season. I think there was only one match that Axolotl didn't look great against Powerhouse, but I think every other single one has gone to 3-2. If I'm not mistaken, like, these teams are incredibly competitive. So I think I'm willing to bet that Axolotl is just desperate for that rematch. They got the storyline for revenge kind of set up for them. They just got to get through the winners of the next match. What a segue! Go ahead.
All right. Goofy Goobers finally getting a win against Hope's Peak. The third and fourth place, who have been fighting each other a lot. Those are their close games. Goofy Goobers finally pulls ahead. Now, I'll say player of the match, Eok, or Eok. Yeah, woo! I got it. All right. No honorable mentions though, but oh god, I'm just gonna say, as the division coordinator, about 30 minutes before the game, I get a message from both managers saying that they probably need a ringer. Now, for one of the teams, that didn't end up happening, Hope's Peak. But Goofy had what was their name? Anubis, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he I didn't get to watch much of the game, but I thought, that's the best game Goofy's played all season. Now, it's a shame that also this was a reverse sweep.
I think that's the
That was a big thing. Yeah, that was
to kind of go in 6, I believe, in the regular season, and then to reverse sweep in the playoffs when it matters most. That's a very strong trait on all of it.
Well, that's what I mentioned a couple weeks ago. It's playoffs. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I guess I'll kind of get into some questions for you later. Asking one for you, Evie. What's kind of the mindset going into that third map? You're down 0-2. This could be the end of the season. Kind of talk about what's going on in the team environment. What kind of allowed you guys to get back on the right track?
Going into the third map, we were really thinking about how do we turn this around? What do we need to do? What's not working? What do we need to change? And we figured out, let's just try to play some comps that we know are comfort. We know we're having a bit of trouble doing what we usually do in scrims, so we're going to go to our base comfort comps, things we know no matter what we can perform well on, and we just kind of popped off.
Nice, right on. Is there somebody in particular that you think kind of stood out and really helped motivate the team to get to that mindset, get to that right space?
I think especially Schleim. Schleim really stepped up, said, this is what we need to change, this is what we need to do. and we were able to pull through on it. And one thing I do want to mention is Raja came back right at the end, right when we needed our regular DPS player. I think that definitely helped with the reverse sweep as well.
Right on. Let's go back to Glacier there in the actual game. Same question, but kind of the inverse. What do you think went wrong with that map 5, or just in general the match that didn't necessarily go your way that you desperately want to change going into possibly the grand finals against Powerhouse for a rematch?
Okay, so I think for map 3, like when we're up 2-0, I think we got a little too cocky, and like a lot of people like didn't try nearly as hard as we should have to close it out, even though they had like a different roster. And in general, I think we just tried out. We played a lot of stuff we've never played before, like especially on map 5. We pulled out like far accounts on like maps we've never played them on, just because we felt like we had to be different and not take a roast mirror into them. I think a lot of stuff like that. I think if we just stuck to what we knew, we would have won, but it's good on them to reserve that.
Yeah, no, that's going into the next match. Of course, we have I guess this is the Losers Finals.
Predictions.
Predictions.
Alrighty. I hate doing this with both players from each team in here, but I think it'll I'll just go ahead and go over it. I predict 3-0 for Axolotl, Asdo 3-1, 80% of our analysts, and 67% of our community. I like Goofy Goobers a lot, but it's just Axolotl has beaten them every single time, so it's just, you know.
I think it's going to be a close 3-1. I'm definitely going and expecting Goofy to put up a really good fight. I don't think it'll be anything from the regular season that we've kind of seen where Goofy Goobers kind of just lay down and kind of just lose maps. I think they're really going to push Axolotl. Axolotl, fantastic team. They obviously have what it takes to get back and push into that grand final spot. But I don't want to discredit what Goofy Goobers is capable of. I think if Axolotl goes in and plays their best, it should be a pretty clear win for them, but they got to be ready for it.
Yeah, I will say though, Axolotl definitely shouldn't go into this match thinking it's an insta win. Just because Goofy now has that momentum. Their mentals are not boomed at all. It's clear. You know, they know what they need to do. They're gonna try and win as best they can. They got nothing to lose. Yeah, you know, I think it'll be close. I just want to put that prediction there just because I want to get more points at the end of the season thing that Akri's going to do.
I think you brought up a really good point, which is momentum. Right? I mean, Goofy Goobers, this is their first win, and it was incredibly important, right? On the line, the season could end. That can transfer. That can raise a lot of spirits going into this next match. Sometimes you can even punch up the teams that might be better than you, right? This could very well be Goofy Goobers just not winning a map in the regular season, sandbagging all the way through, and then just flicking that little switch and pushing all the way to the grand final. So we could see, but I do think Axolotl will end up taking it in the end. I think, Evie, I got a question for you. What do you think is the most important, I guess, game changer going into this match against Axolotl? What do you think is going to be the most important, gameplay-wise, strategy-wise, that will allow your team to take out the Axolotl?
I think the comps that we're going to play, we've got a couple that we're working on in particular that I think can really be a game changer. And one thing I do want to mention, this game wasn't streamed, but our last match with Axolotl was pretty close. It was a 3-1, and every map I think went to 99%. It was a close game. I personally think Goofy Goobers can pull it through. If we get that mental, if we get that momentum going, I think we can pull it through.
Glacial inverse question for you. What do you think is going to be the key component to shutting down the Goofy Goobers momentum?
Just do what we've always done, stick to our usual plans, and listen to our IGLs. Should be fairly simple.
Yeah, I think it would be a fun League Zero storyline if Goofy Goobers did end up pulling off the win, and then they somehow beat Powerhouse. That would be really, really interesting. I'd like to see
At the same time, you'd love to see another Axolotl Powerhouse game.
That's true. I mean, there's no losing as a fan. But the winless team goes into playoffs, wins 3 in a row to win the championship, beating the undefeated team. That would be fucking hilarious. I'm not even gonna lie.
I mean, you have what? For Goofy Goobers, you have the story of redemption, just pushing all the way through the playoffs, making up for what was a lackluster season. Axolotl, you have that storyline of revenge, coming back, fighting back through losers, and trying to take out Powerhouse. And then for Powerhouse, you have that story of perfection, of going in, not losing the game, just being strong all the way throughout the playoffs, and dominating a tier. So it'll be interesting. I think Grand Finals is going to be a really good match, regardless of who ends up there.
All right. Is that all you have, Asno?
I think that's all I got.
Okay.
I mean, we've got one game this week, so there's not too much to
Not a lot.
add on top of that.
Alrighty. Once again, I am RMM here with Asdo, Evie, and Glacial.
If there's anything you'd
Yeah.
like to say,
Oh yeah. Say something.
It can be anything. You can shout at somebody out, shout yourself out, whatever it is. Feel free.
Actually, no, I'm gonna need you to show up to also you can game with us. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Have anything to say? I'll let our gameplay do the talking.
Alright.
All right, right on. Go.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's all.